Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina. Grab a drink and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Today's recording date is July 27th, and this episode will be released Monday, July 31st. So we've got a quick turnaround on this one. Today we're going to be discussing San Diego Comic-Con, which is going to be very exciting. But first, let's start out with our starter questions. And I would normally say stick around for some news, but today is all news.
It's all news, baby.
We're talking about all of the goings-on at San Diego Comic-Con.
Which was in the past, in which we did not go to.
Unfortunately.
Because we're in Washington, in Seattle. Maybe, I really hope next year we can go to Emerald City Comic-Con. I think that would be
so cool.
That'd be huge. Anyway, new patron shout out. Isaac Young, thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. Welcome to the Patreon.
Yeah, buddy.
He is already enjoying the perks of our server, and he has been entered into the giveaway and many more things to come. There's some talk on the Discord server about starting a realm here soon in Minecraft Bedrock, which I am super excited with. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about other things. Nathan, can you share with us your personal experience with comic books?
So I will say, and I was actually telling a client about this today, that I might need to get into comic books because they're making some really cool looking stuff. And honestly, there's a lot of cool lore that has been coming out of these. So honestly, my experience with comic books is very small. I have read a few Star Wars ones way back in the day, but never really got into them myself. And I feel like there's just a huge rabbit hole of information that I really want to go down, but I can't afford to do. A quick example is if you guys are following us on YouTube, which hopefully you guys are, please make sure you like and subscribe. We just put out this week, as of recording date, a part 1, 2, and 3 for our Star Wars lore series covering the X-Wing. Most of those stories covering the X-Wing, Rogue Squadron, Wedge Antilles, things that are kind of in that adjacent nature, all come from the comic books. And I had to kind of research these, and I was like, wow, I really wish I had these. So no, I don't have a lot of experience with comic books, but man, I kind of want to get into them.
Do you remember reading the old Star Wars comic books where the Empire did a genocide on the Gungans and killed them all?
That does sound familiar.
So there's an old Star Wars comic book. This is before the Disney era, where the Gungans had actually migrated to one of the habitable moons of Naboo, and the Empire went there and killed them all with gas bombs.
Yikers.
Big yikers. I think it was Anakin's Darth Vader's specific distaste for the Gungans and Jar Jar, and so he's like, you know what, we're going to kill them all. And then he did. There was also the comic rendition, or the comic rendition of the story of Darth Bane and the Thought Bomb. I got to see that. I got to see that in comics, and then I read about it in the book, and it was so great. I'm very similar in the fact that comic books are awesome, and it is a shame that I'm not really that into them, and probably because they're a little bit of an investment to get into, and I have a lot of hobbies already. I really love the medium. I love how beautiful comic books are. I love the style. And I mean, that's really what it is. It's like 90% art, 10% dialogue. I mean, that's a little reductionary. The writers for these books work very hard in what they're going to write and who's going to die, who's going to live. I mean, other than Jar Jar, that was an easy call. They're like, yeah, we're going to kill him. But it's really great. I've started getting into, you can see behind me, these little comic books right here. Those are Star Wars The High Republic. So a lot of the Charles Soule runs are on there, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I keep seeing little tidbits on Twitter about Burryaga, and he may or may not be alive. And I was like, so help me. If he gets unalived, I'm going to be not thrilled.
That will be very upsetting. He has to technically die eventually because all these characters are dead eventually, but we don't need to talk about that.
No, he's going to live forever. Wookiees can live a really long time, can't they?
Oh, yeah. They can live a real long time.
Yeah, not like Yoda long, but... Which is interesting because large animal... Well, that's not true. Some large animals live really long, like whales, because they're in water, so their weight isn't being... They're not literally being crushed by their own weight and gravity, because buoyant force is a thing.
Guys, before we get into the news from the HoloNet, which is going to be most of the things we're talking about today, this is our courtesy ask to make sure that if you are still watching by this point in the episode, that you are liking the video, commenting on it if you guys have any questions or things you're excited about, and please subscribe. If you guys are watching on YouTube, that is basically just the follow button. If you guys are listening on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or just wherever these sounds are coming into your ear holes. So please make sure to support us here, guys. We love you so much. And with that silliness, we're getting right into the news of the HoloNet. Today we are talking about the news, the trailers, the books, the action figures, all the stuff that came out of San Diego Comic-Con.
Ah, yes, San Diego. Before the age of memes, there was only Anchorman quotes.
That is true. I believe
and there was a... Go ahead.
I believe there is a meme that specifically says, before memes, men used to sit around in circles and just quote Anchorman at each other for hours. And I was like, I feel that in my bones.
I would like to report this photo. I'm in it, and I don't like it.
This photo has me in it without its consent. Thank you very much.
I did not consent to this.
Yeah, pretty much.
You did not have my consent to put me in your meme, your meme.
God, I have to listen to that in the edit. Man.
Dude, eat it.
All right, dude, first topic we're talking about, guys,
today
about
some Star Wars.
Is Star Wars Outlaws. We are so excited.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! As my goober of a brother has fully illustrated his enthusiasm for this subject.
Hell yeah!
Thank you for removing the mic from your mouth. For those who are listening, Andrew's being a goober, and we're here for it. So, this looks so cool. We got to see an in-depth trailer / behind the scenes, some gameplay footage from Star Wars Outlaw. Massive Entertainment, which is the specific section of Ubisoft that is working on this, is going all out. And a lot of what they focused on in this trailer is going to be the settings of the planets. As you guys know, we are huge fans of lore, and every planet is home to new lore, and they are specifically working on developing these. So, for example, there's one planet, I didn't quite catch the name of it, and it is windswept. So much so that the wind has carved out the under portion of this rock that this civilization has actually made. It's one of its main cities. I'm assuming it's like the capital or something.
It's a rock.
It's a rock. And it looks so cool. And they're saying, well, because this planet is windswept, we have to make sure we're incorporating like wind design into the habitations of those who are using or who are living on the planet and all these different things. And it looks amazing. So they had mentioned that they're taking special care to not only make the settings that we know come alive. So for example, we've seen Tatooine like 17,000 times already in Star Wars Outlaws footage, but they are hoping to bring new and better settings to the Star Wars universe and improve on old ones as well. So really, really excited about that.
I don't know if you noticed in the trailer, but Massive Entertainment, when they're talking about the development of their own game, they're interviewing some of the staff, and the entire staff is like, this game is gonna frickin' rock. They're just patting themselves on the back. They're like, we are the right studio to do this, and we are killing it.
And for them to have that much confidence better be a sign of good things to come, because that is how you get an audience pumped, hyped out of their mind for this game and this title.
Hell yeah! I'm excited. I'm really excited. What are you doing?
Hi, Finners. Hello.
Hi, little puppy. I was like, why are you taking a video of your crotch, bro? Don't be weird. There's a dog.
There's a dog. He's just complaining that he's not being loved on currently. I like that you can still sort of see him in camera.
He's had some tummy rumbles the last few days, and it cost me about $600 in vet fees.
So
sign up for our Patreon.
Please, I need it. But yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up in Star Wars. Really excited about the ship aka the Trailblazer, in the speeder gameplay.
That's a great name.
Because they are going ham on this. It's not just like, oh, you hop in your ship and then you like fast travel. It's like, no, you get to pilot your ship. You get to like get into dogfights potentially. Yeah. Like there's a lot that's going to happen here. It's looking insane.
Lego Star Wars also did the same thing, but this looks obviously way more well polished than Lego Star Wars. It really had the feel of like you are fighting for your life when you're in space. You're like, okay, like I just have to, do a barrel roll and jump to hyperspeed. I'm not just going to blow everything up, because you're not piloting just a gun with an engine. It's like, no, you are a container ship. You have some guns probably. Do we know if there's going to be any customization of the ship?
I would assume it really depends on how big of a role the ship plays. I would like there to be customization. I would assume there is.
That would be dope. I mean, because you remember games like Mass Effect, and especially, actually, yeah, pretty much all of the Mass Effect games, a significant portion of the story was, hey, we're going to upgrade our ship, and that is going to be like how you're gonna go forward. Because especially Mass Effect 2, that was like, they're like, hey, listen, this like super state-of-the-art ship that we had, the collectors destroyed it in a matter of seconds. We need to upgrade everything. I hope that's a similar thing we can do in Star Wars. I mean, like, hey, like the crimes that we're doing have been very profitable. Both white and blue collar crime. We don't discriminate here.
We don't discriminate on what crimes we commit.
I'm so excited. Also, Kay Vess she looks great. I think people are going to feel the same about Kay Vess as they do red hair looking Monahan guy from Jedi Survivor. What's his name? Caleb.
Nope. That's not Caleb Dune.
That is Kanan.
Oh, this is bad. I feel like we.
Oh no, Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis. I was about to say Kanan Jarrus, and I was like, nope, that's still not the right person.
We got Kanan, we got Cal, we got Caleb, we got Kate. See, it's not my fault. They all sound the same, and they both occupy the same area of my brain that is just reserved for characters that I am a Star Wars stan for.
Yeah, that tracks.
Anyway, we're so excited. Kay Vess looks like a badass good girl. She's going to be awesome. Well, not really good. Neutral. Chaotic neutral, probably?
Yeah, it depends on how you play. I mean, we've got the face and everything, and we just need to make sure that we bend the galaxy to our wheel.
I will be doing the most chaotic neutral playthrough possible because that's fun. I am going to turn my little commando droid into Mr. Bones 2.0 if I can.
If you can name him, you should name him Mr. Bones.
Well, I think he already has a designation similar to how like HK-47, you don't get a name him.
I'm going to name him.
Can you imagine if Luke Skywalker, when he bought the droids on Tatooine in A New Hope, was like, oh, my name is C-3PO, human cyborg relations, and this is my compatriot R2-D2, and he's like, I'm gonna call you dump truck, and you're gonna be shiny boy. Get a move on. It's like, oh my gosh, they're just leaning into the whole space hick thing. Even the whole time he's like, I'm pretty good at varmint shooting in my big ass spaceship. That was a perfect Mark Hamill impression, and I will not be told otherwise. We need to move on to the next thing because we're already 15 minutes in, and we've talked about one thing.
Topic number 2 is Invincible Season 2. Andrew, hit us with your thoughts.
I am already starting to emotionally armor up for Invincible Season 2 because Invincible Season 1 rocked my world in a bad way. Like San Andreas, people fell in the crack. Here's a quick review of Invincible Season 1. It made me want to curl up and cry, and so naturally I loved it. It is brutal. It was so brutal, in fact, that after the first episode where Omni-Man just kind of shows his true colors and does his thing, I put the show down for about a month because I had to emotionally recover. The level of violence I truly was not expecting. I was like, oh, it's an animated show. And then I just was like,
So the first episode of Invincible sold me on the series because I opened up the series and I said, oh, it's TVMA. I wonder what it's TVMA for.
yeah,
And you're going through that entire first episode and they're like throwing punches, but like they specifically do the animation where there's like no blood in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They toned it down. It's like PG-13 light in the first like 45 minutes. And then Omni-Man goes on an absolute killing spree. And it's the most brutal thing. And I loved it. I was like, this is amazing. And I feel violated a little bit.
oh no.
And it was so good. So I'm super excited Omni-Man is coming back on October 3rd. And did you see the lineup of voices they have?
I'm so excited. So excited.
And also they have Optimus Prime as one of like I'm assuming like a Viltrumite historian or whoever that is.
Yeah.
So
Like
excited.
Viltrumite against Viltrumite. Oh, his voice is so gravelly, and if I could
It's
get
perfect.
See, this is where AI needs to go. AI needs to get to the point where we can replicate people's voices so I can have Optimus Prime like read me a lullaby.
They technically can do that. That technology does exist.
I want him to rock me to sleep.
He cannot touch you. Just a viewer warning, viewers, Optimus Prime will not touch you.
I need an adult. I'm getting a lot of mileage off of not having my mic literally grasped to my table with this. This is how I had my mic attached to my table in my old setup, and I just haven't gotten there yet. You could probably tell because everything is still kind of a mess.
Honestly, not that bad. Super excited to see your new office layout, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Not big enough to hold a Warhammer table. Maybe a combat patrol table, but that's about it. Let's see. Let's talk about Marvel.
We got some cool stuff coming down.
Because it was Comic-Con. Some cool things from Marvel happened, and we would like to talk about them with you.
So I loved watching some of the Marvel, like, kind of B-roll that they had for SDCC. A lot of really, really good cosplayers. Let me just say, like they do some awards and stuff for like some of the people. I saw a really cool Dr. Octopus, Doc Ock, as his short name is, and that was a really, really cool costume. I don't remember which one took first place, but like they just had some really, really cool. Oh, it was Ronin. It was Ronin.
It was a very good Ronin.
It was like studio quality. I can't
really
imagine
was.
how long it took them to do that. So huge shout out to all the cosplayers at SDCC. I think that's part of what just makes Comic-Con so fun is like you get people who are just so into the fandoms and just get back, like just dive in head first. We did also get to see Cosmo, the dog, made an appearance at SDCC, which I thought was really cool.
I was so happy to
They
see
put him
Cosmo.
I was like, I would love to see Cosmo so much.
Both me and my wife were watching that, and we were like, oh, doggy. I want to see the doggy.
It was awesome. And with that, we got to see some reveal dates of some new movies coming up next. Andrew, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about what you were excited about.
I really, really love the trailer for the Marvels. I'm really excited. I enjoyed Miss Marvel and the story of Kamala Khan a lot. I thought her story was fascinating, and another character that I also loved was Monica Rambeau. I think those two kind of coming into their own as superheroes is going to be really, really great. Being mentored by Captain Marvel in such a way that, like, how do I say this without spoiling things for Secret Invasion? We're going to need more superheroes.
Yep.
The landscape is changing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of all I can say. But I'm excited. I like female-led movies. It brings joy to my heart to see women come into the fandom that has, for a pretty significant portion of our lives been dominated by men.
Indeed. I think it's giving us a much needed breath of fresh air, and you don't need a
Yes.
dick to be a superhero.
Yes.
I
It's,
can't help but not be crass. I do apologize to our viewers. I'm so sorry. I will promise to not do it again in this episode.
I have a lot of not super safe for work thoughts about the Flash movie and his costume. But we're not going to talk about that here. Anyway, we're really excited. Marvel looks awesome. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. They're doing like another Spider-Man run called Spider-Man Gang Wars, which is really, really cool. And I'm like looking at my bank account and I'm like, I just bought a house. I can't.
I'm running out of money.
I'm running out of money.
Yeah, and we're planning on going on vacation together in like literally like 3 weeks from now. And I'm just like, I just had an emergency vet visit. I'm trying to like make my Warhammer army competitive, and it's all going to crap. So,
And Lord knows the dogs don't pay rent.
freeloaders. Anyways, moving on to our next topic here. They literally came in when you said that. Moving on to our next topic, which is Star Trek Discovery, the final season exclusive 5-minute clip. So not a trailer, a 5-minute clip from
pretty significant.
the next series. First of all, I will say I have not watched Star Trek Discovery, nor did this clip make me want to watch it. I thought this clip was super dumb. So bad.
I'm in 100% agreement. So I have been watching Strange New Worlds over on Amazon. I don't know how long that's been out. I don't know if I've missed the train on that. But for Star Trek Discovery, this clip doesn't make me want to watch it.
Not at all.
When she gets sucked out of space, I'm like, okay, like hopefully she has like a retractable helmet. She has a retractable suit that she clips on. Awesome. And then she immediately bounces off a piece of space junk
So fast. You're
So
dead.
fast.
You're so dead.
that would have cut her in half. It just would have. Because like space trash in real life is a huge threat to satellites and to astronauts and to
It's a huge
people
problem.
and projects going up into space, because things that are orbiting the Earth are moving so fast. Their velocity, not their acceleration, their velocity extremely high because there's no air resistance in space. They can go so fast. They just keep accelerating because there's nothing to slow them down. So pieces of space junk that hit you go through anything that they hit. It's a big problem, and it's something that NASA and pretty much anyone who sends something up into space has to account for, because if you get pelted by space trash, you lose what you have out there. It is impossible for us at this level of human technology to launch armored spacecraft. Everything has to be
it's
as
too
light
heavy.
as possible.
Yeah. You can't launch a tank into space because it would take, I should say you can't, people won't, because to get that heavy of an object to be armored against space debris into space would cost so much money.
And the sheer amount of jet fuel, I don't see that being worth it. I mean, it's not worth it. It's why people aren't doing it. It's why in our current state of warfare, we don't have like Mac cannons, magnetically accelerated cannons to just basically send
basically tungsten bullets down to the earth.
tungsten bullets. Yeah, what do they call it?
Rods from God?
Rods from God.
Or something like that. It's something real dumb sounding.
Yeah.
I'm like, the coolest kinetic weapon of our age, and you named it like, I'm like, that sounds like God's schlong. I'm like, come on, man. I'm upset about it.
I'm upset you said God schlong. Don't. Ugh.
They made me do it. Anyways,
Anyway,
this whole
we're not
trailer,
a huge fan.
yeah, this whole trailer, like, she should be dead several different ways. So first of all, the explosive decompression of going out into space. If you try to hold your breath and you go out into space, you die almost immediately.
Your lungs explode.
Your lungs explode. And that happens quicker than when we see her helmet go on. So first of all, she's dead. Second of all, impact of wreckage, cut in half. So your lungs are exploded and your dead body now just got cut in half. What a disrespect.
Not to mention, she probably would have hit the exit hole on her way out, which probably would have given her such a grievous wound that she would have bled out extremely quickly.
Yeah. So she's dead multiple times over, and she went into warp speed while being on the outside of the ship. I had to look this up because I was like, I don't understand how warp speed works in Star Trek. Warp speed is a factor of the speed of light. So they're not entering a like different dimension. They're not like going through the warp like they do in Warhammer, or in Star Wars they use like hyperspace lanes. So, but it is literally, they have technology that moves them faster than light, and they create essentially a bubble, a warp speed bubble around the ship. And so you're now theoretically saying, well, okay, so if she is accelerating with the ship, is she not feeling any of that force for some reason? Because even if you're inside a car and the car goes from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, you get slammed back into your seat. If she was attached to the ship, she would have been shorn off at the shins, because all of that acceleration going from whatever speed they were to a factor of the speed of light would have killed her. So she's dead that way. Absolutely bonkers. And then she decelerates as well. So I'm like, it either kills her going in or kills her going out. And when she decelerates, she's no longer attached to the ship. So she exits the ship, and there's nothing to say that she's still in the warp speed bubble. She detaches herself while at warp speed. So she's dead.
Yeah.
Like, whoever this is, it's so... I thought Star Trek prided itself on being futuristic, but also like within the bounds of reality. Like, they don't use like mysticism or anything, or like magic. Yeah. It's like, it's all technology based, but it has to make sense. So
yeah,
what's going on, guys? What's going on?
And the point where I'm like, okay, so she is riding this ship like a sandworm from Dune, and my first thought was, okay, whatever shield goes over the ship, because some sort of shielding is required. Some sort of acceleration compensation is required in a universe where faster than light travel is happening, because like you said, that rapid of acceleration doesn't just kill people, it reduces them to their atoms is what it does. Not quite to the point of fusion. Well, maybe it could. I don't know. If we could figure out how to shoot stuff at light speed, it'd be fun to see if that made little nuclear reactions. My first thought was a ship like that, whatever bubble it would be, the most efficient way to do it would be to form that shield over the whole of the ship like a glove. It would just be form-fitting to the ship, and anything on the outside of the ship would just not come with. The second one would be to where, if the technology doesn't allow the ship to be kind of have that glove where it's like, okay, it's going to make a sphere or an ovoid around the ship, that bubble would be as small as physically possible, because then that takes less energy to run the dang thing. Well, when she detaches from her ship, it shows that the bubble is gigantic, and it's like, you guys are losing me. I'm pretty generous with my ability to suspend disbelief, but for whatever reason, I was like, I'm not in it. I kind of had to be like, I was like, time out, flag. Like, I'm like, you lost me.
I think I could have stayed with it if they hadn't murdered her 3 times. Theoretically, before she even entered warp speed.
Yeah, if she had like crawled into like some sort of nook and cranny of the ship, damaged the engine, therefore forcing it to come out of warp, and then she hopped off, I'm on board.
And there's also times where sometimes she's struggling against like the current or whatever that's going past her, and other times she's just standing straight up, and I'm like, well, what is it? Is she struggling to stay on, or is she not? What's going on?
Yeah, and maybe I don't understand Star Trek light speed. We could probably do about 10 to 100,000 different episodes of podcasts just talking about the speed of light in different fictional universes. And
Faster
they're all
than light travel,
fascinating.
yeah.
And faster than light travel. And maybe finish it off with a stream of Faster Than Light, which is such a fun game.
It's a classic.
But anyway, we were not digging the Star Trek clip. We're going to move on to something that we both really enjoyed.
I think me and you on this next one. So we're talking about Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Super, super excited. And I think this trailer for this game may have convinced the both of us that we need to buy a new PlayStation.
I agree. There is even a Spider-Man 2 PlayStation 5 with a custom controller that looks gorgeous.
It looks so good.
And the thing is, for the cost of a PS5, I could buy enough computer components to allow my computer to run Spider-Man. So I'm like, do I do that or do I get a PlayStation? That's hard. I probably would swing towards maybe a PlayStation, even though I'm in desperate need of a new hard drive. I'm at the point where I have to uninstall old games to install new ones. So, and I want to play through the old Spider-Man games before I play Spider-Man 2. So that's Spider-Man and then Spider-Man Miles Morales. Yeah, some things are going to have to change inside my computer before that's going to work. So I'm very, very torn because this game looks amazing.
It looks so cool. We get to see a lot of like villains in this trailer as well. So Craven, who I'm not exactly
is
sure,
also getting his own movie.
Yeah, so he's like not a villain, but he's also a hunter. And
he's evil.
Okay, he is evil.
Villain.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we also get to see Mr. Negative, the lizard, the Venom symbiote. Like, there's a lot of baddies coming into this title.
Venom is just misunderstood.
That's neither here nor there. He's
evil.
He bad.
he bad. Really, the only notes for this I took is I just said, "Crap! Now I have to buy a PlayStation." ...
I do like that they did spend extra time saying and proving the setting that this game is going to take place in Brooklyn and Queens now. So in both.
That is huge.
Literally, it's like doubling the map size or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. We'll have to do a little bit of research. I'm not sure if that's a bigger playable map than I think GTA 5. However, it's probably more detailed.
Probably.
We're going to keep blazing through this stuff. Not much to say other than Spider-Man looks awesome. What did you think of the Mortal Kombat trailer?
I mean, I recognized a few of the new ones. I thought this was going to be a new Mortal Kombat game, but it's just a reveal trailer for some of the new people. The only people I recognized are the anime characters, which is Omni-Man from Invincible, Homelander from The Boys, and Peacekeeper from Peacekeeper. And I'll be frank, I couldn't care less. I don't like Mortal Kombat.
Savage.
I do not care for the fatalities. I think they're kind of over the top, and that's as somebody who doesn't really care much for blood and gore. But I think they're literally just too much. I'm like, why would you do this? This is scarring. I don't know. I don't get down with that kind of gore.
And in the same breath, I will be pre-ordering Gears of War 6 when it is eventually announced.
Well, Meat Soup is a little bit different, right?
That's disgusting. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of fighter games. I think for the price of a full game, it's a little one-dimensional, or rather two-dimensional, if we're being honest. It doesn't scream this is worth new game money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not spending $70 on a souped up side scroller.
Yeah. Especially with video games retailing at $70 now. Honestly, I'm surprised it took this long, because capitalism is a... There's so many bad words I'm censoring out of my head. Capitalism is the other she who thirsts.
Got him. We got a ton of new trailers, and we'll kind of finish off by just going over just a few bullet points on some of these new trailers.
I would love to actually do like a lightning round. What we could do is just like, we should just do yes, no on some of these trailers. Like, be like, yes, I'm into it. No, I'm not. Legend of the White Dragon.
Nope.
Nope. The Marvels.
Yep. 100%.
Yes. The Walking Dead. The Ones Who Live.
Yes.
No. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon series.
Also yes.
Yes as well.
Interesting. Okay.
I feel so bad for our listeners because they're like, it's just the same voice saying yes or no. I can't tell.
This is why you guys need to watch on YouTube as well.
So Andrew is asking the questions. Nathan is replying first, and then Andrew is responding.
Good to point that out.
The new horror movie, The Perpetrator.
No.
Yes. Interview with a Vampire.
No.
No. Invincible Adam Eve.
Yes.
100% yes. The Rick and Morty anime.
No, not a chance. Absolutely not.
So vehement. Get that out of my face. Also, no. Rick and Morty, a show that I don't watch, and anime, a genre that I'm not that into. So this is going to be a double negative, means just more negative, not a positive. Let's see. Ahsoka.
Yes, 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 and 1,000 times yes.
Ahsoka can get it. She's my queen.
I'm going to be fanboying over Ahsoka for a long time. I am into Togruta.
Sorry, I didn't pull the mic away from my horrible, like, jump laugh. If anyone's more musically inclined, what interval is that?
Stop.
Yeah, Ahsoka's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. Thrawn can get it. He's my blue skin boy, and I love the way he rides.
Stop it.
Harley Quinn.
This is technically a yes, but I will say that I only watch I listen to Harley Quinn while I'm painting or like playing Minecraft. I really don't watch it. The characters aren't compelling enough for me to like spend the time and sit down watching it, but some of the banter is pretty funny.
Because this is like a TV MA DC animated, right?
Yeah, I usually watch it on HBO.
Yeah. I really want to get into the DC animated stuff. Like, we grew up watching the old Batman cartoons, but it's interesting because just from like looking at the thumbnails on HBO Max, I can't tell which ones are for adults and which ones are for children. I can't.
They're all the same.
I can't. I was like, do I pull this up on my work computer, or do I turn the Wi-Fi off on my phone and play it there? You know, like, it's like, listen, I am not getting fired because Harley Quinn decided to be gross on my computer screen.
Super fair.
I actually had to pull down the trailer for this one because like she gets a little gross towards the end, a little bit not safe for work. And I looked over at my screen and I was just like, no, close.
Yeah, as long as you don't pause in that part and then your like supervisor comes over behind you. Like, what you watching, Andrew? Oh, by the way, you don't work here anymore.
Yeah. Well, and like I have a YouTube playlist going all the time at work, and like my boss comments on like what I'm watching pretty much anytime she comes over, because I'm usually watching like cooking videos or something. They're videos that I would not be embarrassed to watch at work. I also do a lot of like continuing education on YouTube. I could do a whole like 15-minute spiel about how there's free education on YouTube, like actual education, not just like tinfoil hat people telling you this is what you should really learn. It's like, no, there's like, you can like watch full MIT lectures of subjects, and I'm trying to do that to keep up on my studies because I got C's in college and I feel like a dum-dum and I feel like an imposter in my job. So I'm trying to, if I'm being honest. Anyway,
get this man some therapy.
I go to therapy. I
Nice.
do go to therapy.
I will be soon as well.
Can't recommend a good brain wrangler enough. Let's see. We talked about Ahsoka. We talked about Harley Quinn. Batman Gargoyle of Gotham.
No,
Is that a book series?
I think so.
Like a book?
I think it's like a book.
Oh, then 100% yes.
I probably won't, just because I don't read superhero books that much.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, I'm like, I'd rather see them in game or comic book version.
I don't think I've ever read a superhero book either, actually, now that I think about it. Because like Star Wars, that's sci-fi. That's sci-fi. There's not really, I mean, Marvel doesn't put out books. They do comics, but they don't do novels.
Yeah, no novels that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll finish out.
Interesting.
All right, guys, we'll finish out with just a few pieces of news here really, really quick, and then we'll hit you guys with that outro because we're right at about that 50-minute mark. One movie that we did want to note as well was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, coming out on August 11th. Andrew, you did say that you wanted to see this, and you've piqued my interest a little bit about it as well, so I'm kind of excited about it. So figured I'd add it to the news.
Looks really interesting. I'm trying to expose myself to more and more thriller and horror, and prove that I'm a brave little boy. Because I do really like some of these stories. It all started with the movie Annihilation that had some legitimately scary scenes in it, and it was one of my favorite movies of all time. So if you haven't seen Annihilation, it does have, it's definitely rated R. There's a tiny bit of nudity in it. There's language, violence. So if any of those are like triggers for you, just, check out the IMDb Parents Guide first. But it's also a great movie. And
It's
Natalie Portman
terrifying.
and Oscar Isaac. I was like, yes, look at that. I have pooped my pants.
Soiled it.
I need... Soiled it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Every single one of you is amazing, beautiful, handsome, or whatever adjective you guys prefer for your wonderful self. Leave us with your theories in the comments about anything that we're talking about. We've talked a lot about Warhammer, Marvel, Star Wars, all those sorts of things. So if there's something coming up like Ahsoka theories you want to share, 10th edition theories for Warhammer, or what you guys are going to think is going to happen in like the Marvels coming up as well, let us know. If you guys want to share pictures of your models, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. If you guys have questions or anything you guys want shared on the podcast, shoot us an email at talkabouttatooine@gmail.com. And if you are a patron, your questions go right to the top. Everything you guys put in is going to immediately get added into the episodes because we value you guys' input, because you guys have valued us enough to support us financially. So we're very happy about that. Make sure to like and subscribe this video so that the algorithmic overlords will slice this video into feeds of other like-minded folks. And do us a favor here, guys. If you guys like the podcast, please share it with a friend. We would love you so much if you did that, because we have a lot of really cool topics we're going to talk about, even though Andrew's being an absolute goober again with his microphone. So we're super happy about that here, guys. And until next time, may the force be with you.
Close your eyes.